Welcome to Municipal Affairs. This week, more than 1,200 delegates from across Alberta have descended upon the TELUS Convention Centre in downtown Calgary for what is being called the province's largest municipal gathering, the Alberta Municipalities 2025 Convention and Trade Show. From councillors and mayors to administrators and municipal staff, representatives from communities big and small are here to learn, connect, and collaborate on the issues shaping Alberta's future. The convention runs through Friday, and for nearly half of those attending, it is their very first time here as elected officials. Many are still settling into their new roles after being elected on October 20th, while others are returning for another term, ready to share their experience and welcome a new wave of leadership. Now, we were on hand for the opening day to speak with some of those new faces about their first early days in office and what they've learned so far and how they see themselves contributing to their councils and communities. First up, we caught up with Calgary's own Ward 3 councillor Andrew Ewell, who shared his thoughts on the early days of his term and what attending his very first Alberta Municipalities Convention has been like so far. Councillor, thank you so much for chatting with me. First off, congratulations on your election.
Thank you.
How's it feel a month into the role as Ward 3 councillor for the great city of Calgary, Alberta?
You know, it's been one roller coaster of an election to another roller coaster of orientation meetings and hiring staff and just getting right into it.
So you've been on both sides of the table as an someone who's been advocating, but now you're on the side of the table that you're going to be listening to the advocacy. Mm-hmm. What tips would you give those people who are going to be coming in front of your council and in front of you to ensure that they're as successful as you were over the last 4 years?
You know, I am learning a lot of how much of a pain in the butt I was as an advocate.
I didn't say it. Just putting that out there right now. The media did not say the councillor was a pain in the butt.
No,
continue.
No, I was. Learning about my responsibilities as a councillor, very different from an advocate. I have to be open to persuasion when there's public hearings that I used to go to. As an advocate, I would think, why hasn't my councillor made a position on this? But I'm learning through my orientation. As a councillor, I have a legal responsibility to listen to every public speaker and then make a decision on things like developments and stuff like that. So I'm learning a lot over the last 2 weeks, and part of that is that learnings is how much of a pain in the butt I was to Councillor Meehan.
I'm assuming she's happy to hear that, that you finally realize that.
Yeah.
But we are now a few weeks into this term, and we have 4 years left. Mm-hmm. What do you hope to bring forward as Ward 3 councillor? Because you're working as a team.
Yeah.
You're sworn as a city councillor, not city councillor for Ward 3, but a city councillor for the city of Calgary. Mm-hmm. What do you hope to bring to the table to ensure that the city of Calgary grows into the community that you want it to be?
Yeah, and I think when it comes to Ward 3, we are that north central area that's missing a lot of infrastructure. And that's what I heard at the doors is we need infrastructure, but at the same time, affordability. We need to make sure that we are an affordable city, that people start seeing the value in their taxpayer dollars. And so that's the first thing that we have to do as a council is look at the 2026 budget for any amendments that we think need to go into that. This is the end of the 4-year cycle that the previous council put forward, and so trying not to do a huge overhaul, but enough to make sure that some of the things that we heard at the doors are included in this budget.
So we are here on day one of the Alberta Municipalities Convention. You're wearing your blue button, which means you're a first-time convention attendee.
Correct.
What do you hope to learn from this convention?
Well, we do have a lot of partners in the surrounding municipalities. That's something I did learn when doing the Nose Creek advocacy is Rocky View and Airdrie and Crossfield. They were all very invested in that Nose Creek Valley. And similarly across the board, it's like the province of Alberta only works because of all the people in it. And we've got so many different municipalities. I learned today. I sat next to the mayor of Isir, just over by Strathmore, and a much smaller municipality than what I'm dealing with.
What? No,
so,
come on.
So it is like it is learning about the struggles and challenges that these smaller municipalities are facing, but. When I look at some of these smaller municipalities, like taking Airdrie for an example, Airdrie has the same population as Ward 3. So I can definitely relate to some of these municipalities in the fact that I feel like a small town in Ward 3. So lots of parallels that I can kind of relate to in my own ward.
One of the big events that's happening during the convention is the speech from Premier Smith and the speech from the Minister of Municipal Affairs, Dan Williams. I know you don't speak on behalf of council, but let's talk about Ward 3. Is there something that the Premier can say tomorrow during her speech, or Thursday when she's speaking and this comes out Thursday morning? Is there something that the Premier can say that will give you hope that the Premier is willing to work with the municipalities or even people of Ward 3 to advance issues around infrastructure, Nose Creek Park? Is there things that she can say?
I mean,
that gives you hope?
I like with a brand new council, we have 10 new faces as councillors and a brand new mayor. There's a lot of opportunity there to kind of build up these relationships with other with other levels of government, and I want to make sure that we start off on the right foot. And so I am looking for collaboration with our province when it comes to the park systems through the Nose Creek Valley, when it comes to even just learning more about our budget, things like the fair entry program that we have with the City of Calgary, making sure that people can get onto transit. I know that that was a provincial funding that kind of got pulled away in the past, and so we've been putting one-time funding into this these transit passes for low-income individuals.
Which Minister Nixon, I believe, is on board with continuing that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and so it's like really trying to see where those collaborations where we can work with the province to make sure that we have the funding. I know a big piece that's been coming up at the doors was the removal of the photo radar. I would like to work with the province and see how we can kind of find that tool back in the toolbox of the police, because we have been seeing a lot more speeding on our major roadways like Stony Trail, and lots of accidents because of extreme speeding. And so really want to get all the tools that the police can get to kind of bring the safety up in our communities in Calgary. And so just want to make sure that we get off to the on a good step with the province and find these collaborations where we can. So
awesome, Councillor.
Yeah,
always a pleasure.
Yeah.
You're about to tap the microphone. There we go.
From the smallest village to the largest city, across every region of the province, Alberta Municipalities represents the communities where over 85% of Albertans live. AB Munis provides a united voice for 265 of Alberta's 330 municipalities, including summer villages, towns, cities, and specialized municipalities. As Alberta's largest municipal group, AB Munis listens to municipal leaders and advocates for solutions to their common issues. Additionally, AB Munis supports local governments by providing services specially designed to meet their operational needs. And they bring their members together regularly so they can share ideas and information so that their communities can thrive. Check out Alberta Municipalities at abmunis.ca and follow them on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, now called X.
Next, we connected with someone we've known personally for some time, but someone who is stepping into a new role. Councillor Spencer Bennett from the city of Spruce Grove. He told us about the perspective he brings to council and what he sees ahead for his growing community.
Councillor, thank you so much for chatting with me here on day one of Alberta Municipalities Convention. This is your very first convention.
It is.
First off, congratulations on your election.
Thank you so much.
Second, how does it feel to be with 1,200 other representatives from every single municipality in the province of Alberta?
It's like drinking from a fire hose. A lot of information, a lot of acronyms, a lot of advocacy groups that do a lot of valuable work, and I'm just soaking it all in as much as I can. Lots of fantastic networking. I think the humbling thing is knowing that all of these colleagues here have all been elected to serve, and that democracy, especially with Remembrance Day being yesterday, is an important part of our institution that we value as Canada. And so the honor of meeting all these people, to know that they've worked hard to represent the people that they serve. So it's quite an honor.
So what's the priority for yourself? When you're here, it's not just a place where you can come and network. It's an area where you need tangible results.
Yeah.
What's the thing that you're looking for to bring back to Spruce Grove to say, this is what I got from Alberta municipalities?
I'd like to learn more about, like, Spruce Grove is a fantastic place to raise a family, fantastic place to raise a business, and I'd like to continue to make it a good place to run a business, so and raise a family. So as I'm networking with my colleagues here, as I'm learning more about the function of a councillor, to just improve it by that extra 5%, to make it great and then make it better, right? So identifying some of those potential ways that we can do that, and then finding a way to make it an even better place to live.
One of the big things that a councillor has to do, particularly after the election, is take what you've heard at the doorsteps and bring it to council. When you're listening to the residents during the campaign, are you hearing around that council table, because you've had your first few meetings already, the same issues that every other councillor is talking about, the mayor is talking about, or is the issues that you were hearing different from them, and you're going to work together to accomplish all the challenges that Spruce Groves have? Not saying that Spruce Groves has all the big challenges, but you have some.
It's been actually really refreshing, because administration and council, administration did knock on doors, but council members did. And as they did so, they got a lot of the same messages that I got from the doors as well.
Which was what? What was the big two that you heard?
Safety, or perceived safety on the roads. All you need is one idiot driving with a loud car at night, and then people think the streets aren't safe. In reality, they're pretty safe, but just making sure that the residents feel safe. The other thing we need to do better as a city is we have amazing events, but people don't know about them all the time. So you hear a story about somebody driving to Edmonton on a date night with their wife to go to a show and spend money at a restaurant, which is great. But as they were driving, they noticed the road was blocked. Why? Because we had Ribfest. Guess what Ribfest is? Amazing food and live music, and that made me really sad. And so we have
Get ready to be sad for the next 4 years, Spencer.
So we have a lot of amazing events, a lot of live entertainment, a lot that Spruce Grove has to offer. And so we just need to do a little bit of a better job of communicating with folks. And I think it's a challenge in our newspaper reach isn't nearly what it used to be. Social media is still there, but finding a way to reach out to these folks. I don't think that the city's to blame, but just finding a way to reach out to these folks, to be a cheerleader for the city, to keep our hard-earned tax dollars on Spruce Grove businesses, in Spruce Grove, attending Spruce Grove events.
Have you learned already, I know it's still early days, that 100% of the people of Spruce Grove will never agree with you? Or are you prepared to learn that as you go on? Because every decision you make, not everyone's going to be in agreement.
That's okay.
Have you learned that quickly?
Oh, yeah. It's ironic. I go to one house, and he'd be like, snow clearing in Spruce Grove is amazing. I love it here. I get my street plowed so often. And the next one, it's terrible. It never happens. I had one guy compare us to a large municipal area which is close to it, which shall not be named, and a sketchy part of that city which shall not be named. And he said he felt very unsafe here. But that was one out of many. Most people felt very safe. They love Spruce Grove. And so sometimes you'd have like extremes, but I've learned that not to make your judgments based on the outliers, but to gather all the data that you can, and then try to make an informed decision based on averages, right? So
I have one last question for you, and it's an important one. In 4 years' time, I'm going to come and ask you for an interview.
Sure.
What does Spruce Grove look like in 4 years' time?
Much the same as it is today, but hopefully residents feel safe, they feel heard, and they knew Spruce Grove was awesome, and now they know it's more awesome. Because it's a phenomenal place to raise a family, run a business. Hopefully we have more things for families to do, and more pride and loyalty to living in Spruce Grove, although it's high now, but let's make it even higher. So.
Awesome. Councillor,
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you
You
so
betcha.
much.
We'll see ya.
Then we headed west down the Yellowhead to Stony Plain, where we met with the only new fresh face on town council, Councillor Miranda Niebergal. She shared how she's finding her footing among experienced colleagues and how she plans to make her mark as the newest voice at the table.
Councillor, thank you so much for chatting with me today at the first day of the Alberta Municipalities Convention in downtown Calgary. First off, congratulations on your election as a city councillor, town councillor in Stony Plain. How does it feel?
Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for the invite here. It's a little bit surreal, a little bit super exciting. A lot of people here. I think they said we got about 1,200 delegates here. So, very excited. I am one of 7 on our council, 6 incumbents. So I am joining a very experienced team. So they kind of did prep me well for this. And so I kind of came with a good wraparound group here. So
let's pick up on that.
Yeah.
So this is your very first convention. You're coming with a group of people who have been to numerous conventions.
Yes.
What are you hoping to take away from this next 3 days as a municipal leader for Stony Plain? What is the one thing you're looking to hear from leaders, ministers, delegates, or even your council?
For me, it's about what can I pick up and what can I kind of bring back to help me be the best team member to my team. I recognize that the strength of our council is the strength of our team. And so for me, I have community background as a parent, as an administrator, as a volunteer. And so just kind of bringing now this municipal government lens. And so learning from experienced people that have here, networking, kind of starting to build a new network in different areas for me. And
has it been fun?
So, very fun, actually.
Really?
Yes, very
That's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah, it's a good first day. I have been told that this evening will extend the fun, so look forward to that.
But you don't come to these conventions just for the fun, quote unquote. You come here to learn as well.
That's right.
One of the big things that we're trying to get to in this conversations that we're having during the next 3 days is, what is the big issue that you believe that is facing Stony Plain? And I don't say that to every mayor or councillor, because every mayor and councillor is representing their own community. But for you, what do you see as the big issue, challenge facing Stony Plain today?
Yeah, so being that I'm a new councillor, I put a lot of ground footwork into knocking on doors. And so I kind of heard 2 sort of common themes. And so the first one for me being growth and making sure Stony Plain has a really phenomenal small town feel. And so that was really evident in conversations with residents, that that's something that's very important to the community and something that needs to be maintained. And so for me, that's making sure growth is inevitable. And so how we grow is kind of what we need to be mindful of. And so
Do you think you have a good team around the council table to address that?
I do.
That's
I
awesome.
think we have some long-term, some, this will be their second term, me being first term. So there is kind of a range, and, Mayor Choi has been around for quite a few years, and our
He
CAO,
doesn't look a day over 25, though, right?
Right?
Exactly.
I know.
There we go. So we look at the convention as a whole, and I want to ask a simple question, but it's a political question. So you're
good.
the political body now, so let's have the answer. Tomorrow, the Premier will be getting on stage and asking or speaking to delegates from across the province. Is there anything you're hoping to hear from her?
Oh, well, geez. Full disclosure, I'm a teacher. So I'm really hoping that maybe Bill 2 is addressed, but no. Truthfully, even though I am a teacher, I have tremendous deep respect for her as a female, especially a female in a leadership role. I believe in her party lines, she's doing exactly what she's supposed to be doing, and doing a phenomenal job. So I do respect that. Just some conversations. It'll be nice to hear about, there was one more thing to just back up the bus there a little bit. Crime is also a concern in Stony Plain, and so that actually will lead me into this. The RCMP, are they sticking around? Are we keeping them? What's kind of heading down that way? And then just in terms for me, as a new councillor, is really kind of starting to understand the dynamics of the provincial members with us as municipal members. And so I kind of hope that that kind of gleans some insight for me and yeah.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
So my final question, and
Yes.
this is a question I get to ask you, and then in 4 years' time, I'm going to come back and ask you for a follow-up interview.
Okay.
What does the town of Stony Plain look like in 4 years?
We are going to look like we're going to maintain that small town feel, but we are going to have attracted some pretty big players to town and really kind of help us offset the burden on the taxpayers. And so I'm really excited for what's going to happen in our industrial sector, and yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to the 4 years from now,
Thank
Councillor.
you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for doing
you
this.
so much.
Finally, we spoke with Alberta Municipalities CEO Dana Mackey about the energy and optimism filling the halls of the convention centre, as veteran leaders and first-time councillors alike come together to chart the future of local governance in Alberta.
Dana, thank you so much for chatting with me. Greatly appreciate it. Here on day one of the convention, 1,200 delegates from across the province. Largest gathering in municipal history.
Indeed, yeah.
First-time convention attendee. How does it feel to have so much energy on day one?
Yeah, it feels great. The energy, you're right, it's very high. It's very exciting to be here. We've gone through our first day today. We've had our keynote speakers. We've started our first sessions. Tomorrow we're going to get into resolutions. We're going to get the opportunity to host the Premier, Minister Dan Williams, and then on Friday, more of our resolution process will unfold, and then we'll be hosting about 20 cabinet ministers. And so it's a great kickoff for today. We're starting with high energy.
One of the things that you and I talked about just on Monday was you're hoping to have the discussions here as for incoming CEO, first year in the role. Have those conversations started between you and delegates about what they want to see?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And conversations are happening between delegates and delegates. And one of the things I'm really enjoying seeing is our returning delegates or returning members deliberately engage with those that have been newly elected into their roles, and that relationship formation starting, which I think will sow seeds over the 4 years of everyone's terms.
What's the message you're hoping that delegates will take away? I know we're on day one, but this might be listened to afterwards. What is the message that you want delegates to take away from these 3 days?
Yeah, well, of course, strengthen members, right? That, whether you come from a summer village, a town, or a city, and be that a small or a larger city, the challenges that you're faced in your community are shared with others. There is a peer network here to exchange best practices and ideas with, so you can bring home the best ideas to your home community and make good governance decisions. And then you're not alone when you're there. There's a peer network that you meet here that you can continue to cultivate going forward, and that our organization works with all our members to take the commonality of those issues and work on everyone's behalf to speak in one voice.
Dana, always a pleasure.
Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Municipal Affairs. Now, we want to take a moment and thank every single one of our guests today who joined us on the very first day of the Alberta Municipalities Convention here in downtown Calgary. Now, your support means the world to us, so if you can, share this episode with your friends, your family, and yes, even your community, and help keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and we will be back with a brand new episode of Municipal Affairs shortly. Till then, everyone.